What's going on, everybody? Zane here, back with another video. So for this one, we got the adjacent elements product. Given an array of integers, find the pair of adjacent elements that has the largest product and return that product. So let's conceptualize this. If we're given an array, we're going to consistently multiply each value and get a product and compare it to some sort of max product, because that's what we need to return, the absolute max product. So in this case, what we want to first do is keep track of the current running max product, meaning just as we do something, we need to keep checking if this something is greater than a max product that we have set. So let's actually get into the code. Let's keep track of a variable. So we're going to need an int running max. This is just going to be the maximum that we're going to keep an eye on. And we'll set this to 0. And now let's start a for loop, because we have an array and we need to multiply specific elements of the array in order to find out what the current maximum is as we go along the array. So what I mean by that is if we do for into I equals 0, I is less than the input array dot size, because it's a vector. We're going to do I++ because we're incrementing. And now we need to figure out what our current max is as we're going through this for loop. So we'll declare another variable and we'll call that current max. And that's going to equal the element that we're at, so input array at I, multiplied by input array at I plus 1. The reason it's plus 1 is because we're just going to take the value, let's use this for example, we'll be taking I multiplied by I plus 1. That's it. And we're going to keep going and looping through it. And now we're going to use this current max to check it against the running max. So let's do that. We can do that by checking if the current max, or we'll call it running max, is greater than, no, this one's going to actually be, sorry about that. If the max that we're checking right now, which would be the current max, and if this is greater than our running max, which is the one we have set up there, then we just need to re-update our running max to be our current max. So let's run through it again because I derped. So if the current max, so if this, for example, is greater than, if the multiplication of these two numbers, 3 and 6, is greater than the running max, which is currently at 0, which is the case because 18 is definitely greater than 0, then we take our current max and set that to our running max. Now this is going to update this variable. Now, as it goes through it, it'll keep checking each single product, and it will just update the running max accordingly. And then once the loop finishes, then all we need to do is return our running max. So let's try this out, see if it works. Okay, so this did not work, and the reason for that is you'll see that the output here is 147. That tells me that there's something grossly wrong. So let's take a look at our code, and I see right now that the issue was we did not include an I or the -1 here. So this was a kind of a good error, because a lot of the times your code might be like completely wrong, but the logic is there. So something as small as a -1 can definitely throw off your game. Like I know it did for me, lol. Anyway, that should now fix things. There might be an additional error because of a theory I have. Yeah, so we have one failed, and this right here, I'm wondering if you guys could figure out why this would be the issue, considering that we have a negative number. So if we have a bunch of negatives and the product is always going to be a negative when we multiply here, a negative number is still less than 0, which is why our output here is becoming 0. So the fix for this is that we just set our running max to some negative number. I'm just going to choose 1337 because that's cool. Let's run that. And there we go. So what we did is we looped through the array. We made sure we have the -1 here because we have the I plus 1 here. We check to see what our current max is. Then we compare the current max with our running max. And if the current max is greater, we set the running max as the current max. Then we loop through again. So it keeps iterating till it gets the absolute max. and then we just return that absolute max, aka the running max. And that's it. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button, show me some love, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.